If you're trying to figure out whether you should carry full coverage or liability this year, you're not alone. Insurance costs have changed a lot this year. Repairs cost more than ever, and choosing the wrong coverage can leave you massively underprotected or paying for things you don't actually need. So today, I'm breaking down the real difference between full coverage and liability only, how each one works during an accident, who should choose which option, and how Lemonade's platform helps you see the exact price difference instantly. I'm Erin from Insurance Wise. Let's get into it. What full coverage actually means. Before we get into the comparison, click the link below so you can follow along inside Lemonade's car insurance dashboard. It's the cleanest way to see how these coverages actually fit together. Now, when people say I have full coverage, it sounds like some kind of unlimited protection, but full coverage isn't a real insurance product. It's just a nickname people use for a package of coverages bundled together. Full coverage is simply liability, collision, and comprehensive. Liability protects other people if you cause a crash. Collision and comprehensive are the parts that protect you, your own car, your finances, and your ability to get back on the road. But here's where the confusion happens. A lot of drivers think full coverage means I'm covered for everything, and that's not true. What full coverage really means is that you're protected financially, whether the damage was your fault, another driver's fault, or something completely outside your control, like weather, theft, or a hit and run. It's not about having a big, complicated policy. It's about making sure that one mistake, one storm, or one unlucky moment doesn't wipe out your savings or leave you without a car. Liability only, what it really covers. Liability only is the minimum level of insurance most states require, and it exists for one reason: to protect other people from the financial impact of a crash you cause. It covers two main areas: bodily injury liability, which pays for the medical bills of the people you hit, and property damage liability, which pays to repair whatever you damaged, whether that is a car, a fence, a mailbox, or even part of a building. But here's what liability does not do, and this is the part that catches almost everyone by surprise. Liability does not cover your car under any circumstances. If you crash into someone, their repairs are covered, but your repairs come out of your pocket. If your car is stolen, there's no payout. If hail damages your roof, if a tree branch dents your hood, if someone sidewipes your car in a parking lot and drives off, liability pays nothing. You absorb every single cost yourself. That's why liability only feels inexpensive upfront. The premiums are low because the protection is extremely limited. It is the bare minimum required to legally drive, but it leaves you carrying almost all of the financial risk. Liability only can make sense for older vehicles that aren't worth repairing, but for most drivers, it becomes one of the most expensive mistakes you can make when something goes wrong. What full coverage adds on top of liability? Full coverage takes the foundation of liability and layers two additional protections on top: collision coverage and comprehensive coverage. These are the parts of your policy that actually protect you, your car, your finances, and your ability to get back on the road. Collision coverage pays for your car when there is an accident, no matter who caused it. If you back into a pole, if someone hits you and their insurance drags its feet, if you hydroplane on a rainy day and slide into a guardrail, collision steps in. It does not matter whose fault it was, your car gets repaired or replaced. Comprehensive coverage protects you from everything that is not a crash: theft, vandalism, converter theft, hail, storms, broken windows, falling tree branches, fire, animals running into your car. All of those fall under comprehensive. And what makes comprehensive especially valuable is that it's usually one of the most affordable parts of the entire policy, despite covering some of the most common and expensive types of losses. This combination, liability, collision, and comprehensive, is what people casually refer to as full coverage. It's not about having every bell and whistle, it's simply about making sure you're covered whether the damage came from an accident, bad weather, crime, or anything else you cannot control. Real examples: full coverage versus liability only. To really understand the difference between liability only and full coverage, it helps to look at the situations drivers actually face, the moments where the type of policy you choose becomes painfully clear. Take the first scenario: you cause an accident. Maybe you misjudge a turn or or you look down for a second, or the roads are slick. It happens to everyone eventually. With liability only, your insurance pays for their repairs and their medical bills, but when it comes to your own car, you are completely on your own. If your vehicle is badly damaged or totaled, there is no help replacing it. One mistake can leave you with thousands of dollars in repairs or the cost of buying a new car outright. With full coverage, the outcome is very different. Liability still pays for the other driver, but collision coverage steps in to repair or replace your vehicle. Both sides are taken care of, and you're not left absorbing the entire financial hit yourself. Now imagine your car is stolen. With liability only, there is no payout at all. Your insurance doesn't consider theft its responsibility, so you're paying to replace the entire vehicle out of pocket. But with full coverage, comprehensive insurance pays the value of your car. Something completely outside your control doesn't turn into a financial disaster. What about a hit and run? This one surprises people the most. If someone hits your parked car and drives off, or if you're hit on the road by someone who disappears before you can get their information, liability only leaves you paying for everything. There is no other party to bill, so the cost lands entirely on you. With full coverage, collision pays for the damage even when the other driver can't be identified. In some states, uninsured motorist property damage may also help. Either way, you're protected. And then there are the things no one can predict. A hailstorm breaks your windows, a tree branch falls on your hood, a wildfire damages your car, a deer jumps in front of you at night. With liability only, none of this is covered, not a single dollar. With full coverage, comprehensive insurance handles all of it because these are exactly the kind of losses it's built for. When you look at these situations side by side, the difference becomes really simple to understand. Full coverage protects you, liability only protects everyone else. So which one should you get this year? Choosing between full coverage and liability only really comes down to one question. How financially painful would it be to lose your car tomorrow? Because your answer to that question determines which option makes the most sense. Full coverage is the better choice for most drivers in 2025. If your car is worth more than $4,000 or $5,000, if replacing it out of pocket would be stressful, or if you rely on your car for commuting, work, or daily life, you want the protection that collision and comprehensive provide. Full coverage is also the smarter option if you park outside, live in an area with higher rates of theft or vandalism, or drive often on busy roads. And if you're leasing or financing your vehicle, then full coverage isn't optional. Your lender requires it because the financial risk is simply too high without it. Liability only, on the other hand, only makes sense in very specific situations. It's really for cars that are old, inexpensive, and genuinely not worth repairing. If your vehicle is at the stage where replacing it wouldn't create financial stress, and you're intentionally choosing to drop coverage because the value just isn't there anymore, then liability only can be a reasonable option, but it only works when you fully understand that any damage to your car is your responsibility alone. If it's stolen, damaged in a storm, hit in a parking lot, or totaled in a crash, there is no payout. You're covering everything yourself. The key is being honest with yourself. Liability only is not a hope for the best strategy. It only works when your car is truly at the end of its financial life. For every other driver, full coverage offers the kind of protection that actually keeps you on the road and keeps unexpected expenses from turning into major setbacks. Why using Lemonade makes this decision easier. Choosing between full coverage and liability only is hard with most insurance companies because the pricing isn't clear. You change one setting and suddenly your quote jumps for reasons no one explains. That's why I like using Lemonade's platform to compare coverage. Everything updates in real time right in front of you. When you toggle collision or comprehensive on and off, your prices change instantly. You can actually see the cost difference for your specific car, which makes the decision way easier. Instead of guessing whether full coverage is worth it, you get a transparent breakdown of what each part costs and how it affects your premium. Their claims experience is also built for modern drivers. For certain situations, approvals can happen in minutes, not days, which is exactly what you want when something goes wrong. And if you already have renter's insurance, bundling it with your car policy can unlock automatic discounts without any extra steps. The interface is clean, simple, and straightforward. No fine print hidden behind drop-down menus, no long forms, no sales pressure. Just an honest look at your options so you can build a policy that actually fits your life. Lemonade's model is also different. They take a flat fee and keep the rest transparent. different. And that fairness really shows in how the platform is designed. That's why I'm using their layout as their visual reference throughout this video. If you want to see what full coverage versus liability only would cost for your specific car, you can click the link down below and check it instantly. The 60-second decision framework. Before we wrap up, I want to give you a simple way to decide in under 60 seconds whether full coverage or liability only is right for you. This is the same framework insurance agents use behind the scenes, but nobody ever explains it this clearly. Think about two numbers: what your car is worth today and what losing it would cost you emotionally and financially. If your car disappeared tomorrow, stolen, totaled, flooded, vandalized, would replacing it set you back for months? Would it drain your savings? Would it affect your job, your commute, or your ability to take care of your responsibilities? If the answer is yes, then full coverage isn't just a recommendation, it is a financial safety net that protects your lifestyle, not just your vehicle. But if your car is older and expensive or something that you could replace without stress, and I mean truly without stress, then liability only might be a smart, intentional choice. The mistake people make is choosing liability only, hoping nothing happens, instead of choosing it because they are genuinely prepared for the consequences. One more thing to keep in mind is your location. If you live in a high theft zip code, or you park outside, or you drive through areas with a lot of weather events, comprehensive coverage pays for the risks you cannot control. And those risks have been increasing every year nationwide. This is why I like showing this inside Lemonade's dashboard, because when you toggle full coverage on and off, you don't just see a vague price increase, you see exactly how much protecting your car actually costs. And when you put that number next to the real world cost of losing your vehicle, the decision becomes extremely clear. Insurance is not about fear, it's about buying back control. You get to decide how much risk you carry and how much risk you hand off to your insurer. And when you make that decision intentionally, instead of guessing, that's when insurance starts to feel empowering instead of overwhelming. So that's the real difference between full coverage and liability only, what each one actually protects, when they matter, and how to decide which option fits your situation this year. Full coverage is about protecting your car and your financial stability, while liability only is about meeting the minimum requirements and covering the people you might harm in an accident. Understanding the gap between these two is what helps you avoid surprises later on, and it makes sure you're choosing coverage intentionally, not just based on price. If this video helped, please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. I'm Erin from Insurance Wise. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.